double down. Bud Ice, double down. Part of the regular beer project. Tell you the story. We're planning to do an examination of Natty Daddy, the natural father. We did one before, but I deleted that one. Well, I don't want to get into that whole story. All right, anyway, but so I bought Natty Daddy, right? Which seems to be kind of dying out. Now, put this back in the fridge. I want to put that back in the fridge. By the way, Natural Light is doing very well, and Natural Ice is doing very well. It's just, I think maybe Natty Daddy's around here. It's been kind of taking a backseat to the Hurricane High Gravity 8%. I guess they realized they didn't really need two 8% mass-produced lagers in the same area. Jean out there in Mobile said that it's gone, and I checked their search engine. There's a locator tool, and it is gone. Closest to Mobile is like 70 miles. Anyway, this is about Bud Ice. This is the 25-ounce bonus can. 5.5% alcohol, introduced in 1994. It's made with water, corn, and rice / or dextrose syrup, which is the brewer's syrup. What did they say? Barley malt and hop extract. Okay, so they use corn and rice or corn and dextrose syrup. They got it set up in a way that if they use either rice or the other thing, it's going to taste the same, and you can't smell it or taste a difference, okay? This is one of the top 20 selling beers in the United States. I don't know how popular it is in your area. Around here, it's hugely popular. I go, and this has been growing like the last 3 years. Well, the reason I bought this because I went to Racetrack in Hammond. There's only one store apparently that still sells Natty Daddy around here. They tried the 6% Natty D last year. It didn't really catch on. Here's the Anheuser-Busch tasting glass. Anyway, so I said, well, when I come back from Hammond, and you can hear the rain. We were supposed to be at a baseball game, a doubleheader, and it started lightning, and they said, get off the field, you know. And I said, it's an all-day soaker type rain. I said, they're not playing these games. I can't wait around here all day. Just, they might be canceled. Anyway, I said, let me stop at Racetrack on the way back. I was doing some scouting for brandy, and I did see some very fascinating things in that area at Albertsons and LeBlanc's Associated Grocery Store. So I said, whoa, let me get out of here before I buy too much. So I went to Racetrack on the way back on US Highway 51. I stopped in there, and they had it was a special. You had to buy 2 cans. They gave you a whole array you could choose from. Oh, the Natural Family and Bud Ice. And it was $2. It was 2 cans for $3.75, I think. Or was it $3.50? Okay, anyway, it was inexpensive. But if you bought 1 can, you had to pay the regular price, which was like $2.99. So I was like, well, why would I pay $3? Yeah, it was $3.50. That's what it was. It was 2 cans for $3.50. 2 25-ounce cans for $3.50. So why would I pay $3 for 1 can, $2.99 for 1 can when I can get 2 for $3.50? Okay. All right. $1.75 per can. Not a bad deal. Now, Bud Ice is not super cheap around here anymore because it's gotten so popular that they've jacked the price up. Okay. Thick white head, clear golden appearance. You know what it's going to look like. Now, this is the mystery on their website. They say, it's the first draft beer to be ice brewed. They've always said that on the Anheuser-Busch website. It's the first draft beer to be ice brewed. And then other areas of that website, they'll say it's the first packaged draft beer to be ice brewed. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's really smooth. There's the original Bud Ice can. Thank you, Ron, for giving that to me. He gave me this can in like 1996. It was that kind of, they had this in the mid-90s, these serrated cans. And they had the black and red and gold, black, red, and gold color scheme. And they went to the red, white, and blue soon after. Our exclusive ice brewing process produces a rich and smooth taste that's remarkably easy to drink. Well, it is rich and it is smooth. And it is remarkably easy to drink. It's not, you know, Old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout rich. But, you know, it's rich relative to other American beers. You probably remember their clear, well, they still make the clear bottles. These are the bottles over the years. They had the crinkly ice shaped bottle, and then when Carlos Brito took control in 2008, they started cutting costs, and they said, you know, forget that. I'm going to put the regular smooth bottle. Still has the embossing though, which is nice, and you can get the, now here's the brown, the previous brown bottle. Brown bottles are 18 ounce around here. This is the bowling pin bottle. Bought this at Racetrack in the year, so I don't know. That's the old born on date. The new brown bottles are shaped, you know, they're stubby at the bottom and they have a long neck, and they are the same as this with the, you know, same label, but they're brown. Now, why everything else is clear? Clear 12 ounce, clear 22 ounce, clear 32 ounce bottles, clear 40 ounce bottles, but brown 18 ounce bottles. And if you go to these convenience stores, they have literally an entire cooler dedicated to Bud Ice. No joke. Cans and the 18 ounce bottles. And the 12 packs of the clear bottles, which are sealed pretty well so they don't have the light damage anymore. They used to have those open ones, and boy, if you get the 6 packs of the clear bottles, I avoid those because they'll be skunked really bad. These stores do not take care of them. They'll just leave them out in front of the fluorescent lights. It'll smell like skunk, it'll be slimy, and it'll be bad. But if you protect the beer properly, like in this can, it's not going to be bad. It's going to be really a really nice experience. And I have some salad coming up with a little bit of food I think I'll eat. I'm trying to figure out what's coming after the salad, but it's going to go really well. Yeah, I think I might try those Zapp's Drago's potato chips from Drago Satinovich. Here's the thing about this beer. You're getting 5.5% alcohol, so it's hefty. But it's only 121 calories. Now, 121, think about that. That is low. That is like within the light, that's getting into the light beer realm. Very close to it. So it's almost like the best of both possible worlds. Your alcohol heft and your low calories. And then you've got the price point, which is very favorable. Not as favorable as it used to be. But popularity makes price go up because they can command more. You go to Mathern's and get a 6-pack of Schlitz pint cans, and that's $4.99. But it's not a popular beer. You can go to Walmart and get a 6-pack of Steel Reserve pint cans for $3.99. That's a marginally popular beer. Alcoholics and then people like me who like to get a bargain, they'll buy it, okay? I mean, I'll buy those 6 packs of Steel Reserve $2.11. But, you know, a lot of people either would never try it because they know nothing about it, or if they do know something about it, they'll turn their nose up at it and say, I would never buy that. Anyway, and I get a lot of comments from people about Steel Reserve 211. Believe me, the 6% that we get, the 6.0 that we have been getting for 13 years is much more enjoyable, in my opinion, than the harsh take no prisoners, 8.1%. Although I understand many people do appreciate that presentation. I'm not one of those people, although I did just drink a decent amount of that Fleur de Lis Napoleon French brandy VVSOP. Not harsh, 40% alcohol, not harsh, and smooth as velvet. It's just, smooth as silk. Okay, here's a brochure that Anheuser-Busch sent me in 1997, the 1996-97 yearbook, basically. And it's interesting because they're showing Bud Ice right up there with Bud Light and Budweiser. It used to be part of the premier premium level Budweiser family. But if you notice now, and you get on the Budweiser website, it is no longer included in the Budweiser family. It's its own separate line, which means it's one product. There's no more Bud Ice Light. There was a Bud Ice Light up until Brito and InBev bought out Anheuser-Busch. You'll see, maybe you can see the photo there. Many of you are very familiar with Bud Ice Light. I'm sure no one is familiar with this oddball thing. Michelob Malt. Oh. In case somebody wants to bet money with you. Yes, there was a Michelob malt liquor in the mid-90s. They wanted to make a above premium malt liquor. To capture the attention of high-end malt liquor drinkers, Michelob Malt is a premium malt liquor with a smooth taste and no lingering aftertaste. In other words, it's not cloying, like malt liquors can be like, but Michelob Malt didn't have that. But unfortunately, no one bought it, including me, because I never saw it. If I'd have seen it, I'd have bought it. And it died away. Now, going on. What they say here is Bud Ice. Ice crystals form in the finishing process to give premium Bud Ice its rich, smooth taste with a full-bodied aftertaste. That's all they say about it, introduced in 95. And here's all their whole line of craft beers, which didn't sell, except Ziegenbach is still around, and now there's a Ziegenbach Kolsch. It's sort of a mythology that major brewers never did craft beer. They did do craft beer from the get-go. We're talking about, like in the 1800s. But they weren't particularly popular, and they just slowly died out. And then the craft beer craze came in right around the same time, meaning the late 70s, early 80s, when the major brewers were casting off all their craft beers, or craft style beers, or whatever phraseology you want to use. I would prefer like specialty beers, gourmet beers to be a better term. And now they're bringing them back. Pabst is saying, well, hell, heck, we'll bring back Valentine IPA. We'll bring back Pabst Old Tankerdale. And Anheuser-Busch is like, we never did this, though, but we never did this. We did it. Schlitz did it. Pabst did it. Miller did it. No one bought it. So, it's kind of an interesting thing there. This is sort of like a compromise type beer. If you think about it. I wouldn't bring this to the New Orleans beer festival. I would bring this to a barbecue, a crawfish boil, to go fishing, to go hunting, to go watch a sporting event at a friend's house. This is what this is probably more, you know, tuned in on or appropriate for. Is it better? Is it better than Budweiser? No, I mean, you know, obviously it's not quite up to that level. There's something about Budweiser that's a little bit distinct, and I can't pin it down, you know, I never can pin it down, but it's got that something to it. This doesn't have that something, but it has a lot of other some things that make it appealing. So I don't know, if you're into drinking beer, you know, like, you drink it, you enjoy it, you don't stress out about it, you're not on this great quest. And I've been talking about this for a year with my YouTube channel. I'm not on a great quest. There's no end game. You know, people say, what are you trying to accomplish? What's the greater purpose? Greater purpose. None. There's no greater purpose. If you call looking at beer can and bottle labels a great purpose, you know, that's it, but that's all there is. Now you say, well, the brandy, you're starting the brandy, you're starting the sherry. Well, you know, I've been doing sherry and dessert wine since I started this channel, so there's no great purpose there. It's just they make it. Let me find out about it. Let me go do the research on the website. That's all it is. So anyway, there are many more positive attributes for this than negative attributes. So, onward and upward. 20 years later, it's still there. It's doing great in southeastern Louisiana. It's almost like it's not the king of beer. That would be Bud Light in southeastern Louisiana. And Budweiser would be the king who's still alive, but he abdicated the throne to his younger, you know, his son. This would be like the grandson, the heir apparent, the crown prince of macro beer in southeastern Louisiana. So Bud Light, the king, Budweiser, the abdicated monarch emeritus, and Bud Ice, the crown prince, who will probably never inherit the throne, if you get my drift, but it will hang around and attempt no palace coup d'etat.